when we look at our matchup at the first time possible, we always have to keep in mind what we can see and what we have to know about each side of the gods. Usually, that's the general matchup. We have our Capri here and Medusa the opponents. We will know what we want to play. In this game, we have our Ram. Ram usually has just a single ability he can play at level 1. That's mostly what he's going for, so using the Astra arrows for maximum wave clear is always a good thing to do. Then we have our Qingqian, our support. Qingqian usually has 3 options to go, based on how the pre-game goes. Stone Cutting acts as the highest clear, so for a jungle camp for example, would be the best damaging ability, also good for disengages. Hook Slam is usually the best CC move, and we have Furious Roar, which is usually, or in general, the best lane clear, as it is a line ability that can hit every minion if placed correctly on the right angle. That's Furious Roar is usually the one you want to prioritize, but both other abilities can be used, especially Hook Slam can be a decent CC option with a long lockdown of the knockup plus the road duration. On the other hand, we do not know what the opponents are going for, but we know what abilities they have and which they should go for. In that case, Medusa has usually just a single option to play with, and that is the classic acid spray, which is their best wave clear, their best poke, best fighting ability. Viper Shot is usually not picked up, and Lacerate is just useful if she would have get ganked early, and that usually don't happen. On the other side we have, of course, our Capri. Capri has a lot of things we have to keep in mind when we want to play early. You can go for a high damaging ability in Rising Dawn, which is actually 120 damage at level 1 on a wide AoE line ability. We have that single target lockdown abduct with a long duration CC, which can be pretty devastating in level 1 fights. Or of course the long range route, which is usually not picked up, could be for defensive measures or for aggressive like invades. But at that point we already know that in mid lane are 2 players. Our mid laner can spot it out. We do not know what solo lane is up to, but we can expect the solo lane is either attempting to play around mid lane, for example camping here at mid camp to try to make an early level 1 invade, or he's doing a standing in lane or hiding in the right side jungle. So there's no real fear that the enemy jungler solo laner will gank us. So now we know which ability we're going for. So the next thing we have to do is, when we go a bit forward, then we have a situation where we have the enemy on the minimap and get access to their item inventory. That is one of the most crucial things to do. That's usually the main reason why you should step forward, to know what the enemy has. They will know what you have, but you already know what you yourself you have. Now, the items, especially the relic slot and the potion slot, will tell a lot about how the team tries or plans to play their game. In that case, we have ourselves on our support the warding chalice with the chest of the oracle and multi potions, so relatively low sustain. We have wards. The enemy knows we have placed somewhere wards if they are looking the same up, so they probably won't gank until like a third minute if they notice this. If not, we have the advantage with the wards. Then we have a classic start. We have meditation for sustain, so Qingqian shouldn't get killed by any means unless he runs out of mana. He has a bit sustain of multi potions, meditation, and his really strong passive to regen health. Ram has 3 potions of each, so a lot of sustain, 100 gold in pocket, so that can tell you want to get boots quickly, faster, and do not expect all too long to stay in lane. Also 3 potions of each usually means you don't try to opt for getting the tier 1 item of the next item on your first deck. Then we have, on the other hand, Capri, Meditation. What is more important here is that he has HP and multi potions, which means he wants to play aggressive. Like, there's no real reason not to go for HP mana potions, unless you want to play like super aggressive into the wave, tanking the minions and getting a kill, even probably with an early tower dive. And we have Medusa with the classic 4/4 pots. So she's opting for, she wants to back with her maximum boots, getting finished and at least tier 1 item of her first slot. If she can get more, of course more, if not full boots is her at least, it's a minimum goal. So we now know at that position what the matchup is, how we should play, or what we can expect the opponent will do. We can expect an aggressive Capri. We can expect a standard Medusa with Wisdom trying to poke and clear loss. We can potentially expect to lose our lane based on the wave clear, because Xingqian and Ram usually cannot match the Medusa Capri wave clear unless they try to go for a kill, so an early pre-game kill. And yeah, we know where the opponents are most, so we don't have to expect a level 1 gank. That's the most important thing. Now we have our clip itself. We have here the pre-game. What I want you to look at in that clip is how the enemy support and hunter usually stay on relatively the same line, while on this side we usually see either Xingqian or Ram being a few steps ahead of each other, and usually stand a bit off, have a larger distance to each other. Supports usually don't have really use in the pre-wave fighting, because they don't have range abilities or range attacks. Usually don't want to use their abilities before the wave starts, because it just costs mana for basically no real valuable poke, especially if both supports have no mana potions. We now know what we have to look at. Like I said, the positioning of both sides is the most important thing. Then what we have to keep in mind, Capri passive is actually one of the best support passive for these pre-game fights, because it's up to 10% maximum HP, which obviously means like that they both can take a lot more damage, and Capri here, we can see it's about 60 to 70 HP. That's quite a bit. That's at least one full Rama basic attack. And it's for both, so it can be really viable. Keeping Capri in combat means that passive will regen not as frequently, so it will be less valuable, will block less damage, and can help. We see here that actually the overall trade is pretty good. The hit rate on the enemy is okay. It's a lot of poke they take. On the other hand, our Xingqian takes a lot of damage in return, and we will see that he actually loses the most XP here, especially because the Capri passive is so valuable here. We'll use it to half speed. You see here an Astra arrow used. That was the next attempt to hit both opponents. They spread out once these arrows were used, but they stay in the same line. On the other side, Xingqian was here, moving forward. Ram is backing off now. So we have another angle to another, and yeah, Xingqian already took over 200 HP. Uses his first potion after taking another shot. Now we get see back off, because they overall lost the trade. Capri is almost full health without using anything. Medusa lost about 100 HP, and Xingqian up to 200 and his first potion, which is actually not regenerating any mana. Now, minions come into play. We are on nearly 30 seconds, so we get ourselves. We can see again, Capri shield is ticking, and we have again our line. Compared to that, That's not really. We have Jing Chen standing far off. That usually has no real purpose, because he does not want to go into the jungle, and he is not getting anything out. The only thing he is getting out of it to be in range of Medusa to get more poke, if need be. So, we can see now, Capri wants to back off. Jing Chen is actually moving forward into the wave before the minions clash. We will see what that will mean for the future. And I'm waiting. Yeah, we see it here. The difference between two teams is that Jing Chen is ahead of the wave. Ram is slightly ahead, but he's behind his tank, so he's fine. The opposing team is behind their minions, so these archers will attack that minion first, unless they get forced by the scripting to attack Medusa or Capri. On the other hand, these archers will lock down on Capri and Jing Chen until somebody of the gods will deal damage to the other gods. So they are we have Furious Roar hitting 4 minions here, which is okay. Usually you want to hit 5 to 6. It's not easy to hit all 6. But now we see the real problem. We have here the classic formation. Support on one side, AC on the other side. Here we have now the classic Ram formation, moving into the wave to clear. And we have Jing Chen, who did his poke, trying to back off. But now the poke start. He already took a few archer shots, not all too crazy. But we have now Ram here, taking the poke from Medusa and from Capri. So we can see what's happening next. Jing Chen is moving straight away from the battlefield, so he is not even staying close to the wave. The poke has been made. His distance increases. Ram trying still to clear the wave, as he should. On the other side we have the melee minions not dealing damage to anybody, because they chase Medusa, who is far off. Capri can poke now to take out the archer aggro, so they won't clear these minions first. Ram now shoots his next Astro Arrow, and will shoot another one. It's on 300 HP. Jing Chen returns to the battlefield, uses his first basic attack. We have now see the damage. It took his full Astro Arrows to clear 2 archers, because he lost 1 Astro Arrow before. Also, we didn't really saw it that time, but this archer had about 0 HP left before that shot hit. That's because Capri's Rising Dawn ability reduces the damage of Ram. Ram taking that damage actually forced him to use that Astro Arrow to clear these archers. If these archers would have been on a different timing, they would have shot 2 additional arrows, would have been additional 40 damage. Which is damage that would have not been needed if Ram had waited for the abilities, especially the Rising Dawn, to avoid. They will lose the trade anyway, and they would have lost a lot less HP. Rising Dawn is dealing about 90 damage. And we now have clearing. I will switch sides. We actually can see it. Now, Ram has superior clear option. He cleared the archers and the melee minions. Just 1 melee, 1 archer remaining. On the other side we have 1 melee and 3 low HP archers left. However, we have a great difference in HP pool. Even though Medusa has no start items that give her HP, she has 400 HP plus Bluestone and a bit of Capri Shield. Capri has 400 HP plus Watcher's effect. And we have Ram here with 250 HP and about nothing really left except for his potions, of course. So he has his Death Toll trying to lifesteal a bit off. We have now goes in. Every shot an archer would die, Capri will gain HP and mana back. On the other side we have again Jing Chen clearing the large melee minion, which is viable, would have been done by that melee anyway. But now we have a situation where the support, the enemy support and the hunter can attack the ADC for free. And that's actually, of course it's not good. We see his HP pool dropping. He getting chunked by Capri and Medusa. Now Jing managed to interrupt, but that melee minion blocked the shot anyways. And now we have the meditation. Meditation is needed here. Could have been done earlier, it does not really make any difference. It's a flat amount of HP regained. We have Jing Chan slowing himself down with basic attacks. Which actually, that one basic attack through, that's not important in that case. We have now 3 gods on the same page, all running towards Ram, and Ram walking in a path away, but not towards the tower, not the shortest line, away. And we can see it a bit, he is strafing. Where he is strafing, running away up God. And problem with strafing is that in strafing in an angle of 45 degrees, usually when you press like V and D, you have a slowdown of 10%. Effectively 10% movement speed slow. Which is of course not great if you try to escape. Like that strafing can be major, but it's something you can discuss in later discussions about that. Like minimal strafing can be really bad. Yeah, it's not thing. Now we had the Furious Roar of Jing Chen. That's actually, of course, it's probably used because it was on cooldown back, but that Furious Roar reduces the in-hand damage by 30% of Medusa and Capri, of course. So that next basic attack will deal 30% less damage, which we will see now actually pays out. Not directly, but we have here the damage. We saw it. We're down to 38 damage HP. So we have the next basic attack missing of Medusa, or better, get blocked. If that wouldn't have been blocked and hit him, he would have taken 34 damage and would have survived, cause that's 30% damage mitigation on Medusa. So Ram survived that fight. Close, but he survived it. There's nothing the opposing team can do with level 1 again to get that kill. They could tower dive and would die. But the problem is, in that whole play, we have a situation where we, at best, or the best scenario would have been to let the opponent clear, get Ram in position to clear the archers with his full 5 Astral arrows, and drop the small Cyclops, which will fall later anyway. Let them the enemy clear, get them the level advantage they get anyway, and stay on a healthier level, because that's over 600 damage done. With already an health potion ticking, second one was used, he will use the third one in the frame. So he survives it. We had that bluestone ticking, but it's not, would have not done enough damage because HP potion was ticking. We have now clearing of the next wave. The only thing that really got out of it from that escape is that the opponent didn't have time to go for Cyclops. It would have been smarter, but they had the actual chance for a first blood here. We have now the whole thing continuing. It actually goes wave to wave, he is not backing. So we have basically just a defensive measure, and that's how it should have been played out in the first wave. We have a defensive call, let the opponent clear, stay on the tower, prevent everything further aggression, and don't lose any health. In fact, with HP potion we gain health. But that would have been the reaction on the second wave, would have been the reaction needed for the first wave in a lost matchup like that. Now we have the opponent poking a bit, not going for the another Cyclops, losing at least 3 creeps to the tower here. The third, fourth, fifth. So the whole wave basically was lost in gold there to the tower. But still better than losing like all of your HP. And also on level 1 with 5 Astral arrows you wouldn't lose the whole wave. Oh, we had another aggression. They're opting now to go for the Cyclops. That does not make any difference anymore. and that's basically the first play. We will make a rewind in time and show what's happening there on the other side with the first blood. It's another play. Really interesting to see. I won't be that complex about every other play here. It's like the first iteration of what you have to keep in mind on such a play. The other plays will be a bit shorter in my review, but I will, in future videos and future games, I will make more in detail explanation about what is going on.